All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Canada Cup Season 7. We're here with the opening day, group number A. We're at the halfway point, game 3 of 5 of the best of ones. We've got the winner portion here of this little bubble bracket, Complexity versus Evernova. Both of them have played one game so far, and both of them have found a victory in both regards. So we'll see what happens here as the winners square off. I'm Zyori, joined again by Mott, as well as Lurka on stats. Welcome back. How you doing, Mott?
Doing all right, man. I'm excited to see this particular matchup. Evernova looked pretty good against their match against Animal Kingdom. So, Complexity obviously still heavy favorites here, especially just to get out of this group in general. I don't see them struggling that much to get to the playoffs, but we always could see an upset. Lucchini played pretty well against them, but I think Complexity just have really good team synergy, and that's hard to match with a team that you just formed maybe a month or two ago, compared to a Tier 1 team that's been invited to a major that's played up against some of the top talent in the world. They're really showing why they got invited these past couple of games they've played. They're going to start out with Nature's Profit pick, which is really interesting, but I expect them to pretty much just win all their lanes and go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, there we go. Thought my Dota was crashing for a second, but we're good. So, yeah, absolutely. Nature's Profit for Complexity. Definitely a change of pace. Looks like Evernova was watching that last game. 2 bans that Complexity utilized in the last game. Lich as well as Tiny as they take out Riki and Winter Wyvern again. Enchantress, the Bounty Hunter, the opener here for Evernova, and Crystal Maiden comes right back. A great pick to have against the Enchantress. Frostbite, of course, quite good against the enchant ability on those creeps, but I have not seen too much Ench since the patch, and I think some of those new items are pretty damn good on her mod. I think the Hurricane Pike in particular, where you have that unlimited range, the Super Force Staff, just an incredible item. It feels like that was just built for Enchantress, honestly.
Yeah, but there are some nerfs that she did receive to her actual max damage from Impetus, both in terms of actual range that she could throw, so therefore max damage, then max percentage-based damage, I believe, as well. So Enchantress has taken some nerfs. So it kind of offsets it to a certain extent. Obviously, though, that, like you mentioned, Hurricane Pike's still very strong. Would not be surprised to see that get picked up for her.
And I think it's also just good for survivability, too. I mean, the way that it just knocks you back from any kind of initiator, it gives her at least an opportunity to get those Nature's Attendants out and get back into a better position, which is, you know, sometimes all it takes for Enchantress to survive a sticky situation.
Yeah, I think also just the ability to have a Force Staff is never a bad thing either. I mean, I'm pretty sure Force Staff is one of those items that you could build on just about anybody and be an okay build. I've seen Force Staffs on heroes like Sniper before, so I honestly don't think it's a bad thing to have. But Hurricane Pike is certainly an interesting item, and I've seen it on a number of heroes, and obviously Enchantress being one of those in pubs that I've seen it on a fair bit. It does a lot of damage. It has a bit of a build-up, not too much. Both Force Staff and Dragonlance are relatively cheap, and the recipe's only 250, so it's kind of like building an Ags in that regard. It's roughly around the same. I think it's like 175 more. That's it. So it's definitely a good choice. They've also picked up a Bounty Hunter, which has not had a lot of luck in this particular tournament so far, but we'll see if that changes here.
Yeah, I mean, Crystal Maiden and Prophet, 2 heroes that he can kind of pick on, especially if it's a jungle Prophet. Bounty Hunter can absorb some of that experience and just be an overall nuisance. But CM did also get a couple of smaller buffs. Crystal Nova now has a scaling cooldown, so you can spam it a bit more at level 4. And Arcane Aura jumps up from +6 to +8 for the self-regen at level 4 for CM. So fairly minor, but it does help, you know?
More quality of life buffs for supports. And she still has the biggest problem of being one of the slowest moving heroes in the game. But that is counteracted, of course, by the one item that we've talked about a lot in the Windlace. So Crystal Maiden has that at her disposal now. Tranquil's Windlace will provide her a decent bit of move speed that she really lacks at the beginning of the game. And that's where the Bounty Hunter can capitalize. So if you're looking to put on aggression, I would say just try to find number 1, the mid laner, and number 2, I think as well, you could use the CM, or you could abuse the CM rather. What's interesting to me is that because they have the Bounty Hunter, I don't think this is a support Enchantress. It's more than like the offlane or safe lane, which is, I feel like the offlane Enchantress fell behind a little bit. We saw a lot of offlane Beastmasters, a lot of offlane Voids, but offlane Enchantress has not been something that we saw as often as when this kind of meta first arrived.
Yeah. I think teams also just got better at playing against her now. Like she was so good that if you would first pick her, then you just grab bursty heroes like Zeus, for example, that can just pressure her really hard. And once you start to play against her that way, you realize, she's actually not that unkillable. If you stop auto attacking, then she's got really low HP early on. But some decent team fight here for Evernova. They'll pick up the Witch Doctor, so get some nice bouncing stuns and some physical damage on the field.
I don't think they changed Witch Doctor either. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was untouched. Another one of those heroes that has not been touched in this patch, and he shouldn't be touched. I feel he's in a very good spot right now. The only thing that's kind of unreliable about him is his cask, and you just kind of have to know when to use that. I think his heal is very good. Maledict, although not, I think, skilled as often as the heal is now, is still fine if you have like an aggro tri lane, you're trying to set up kills and get some extra burst damage. And not to mention Cask's pretty good with the trance to a certain extent. It's just a good stun overall. Death Ward, we don't have to talk about that. We know what's good about Death Ward. So it's just an all-around good support hero.
And we have seen that versatility, though. We've seen some games where Maledict is like the key ability that allows you to shut down like a Tide Hunter or a Bristleback or something. And other games where maxed out Voodoo just feels completely broken when you're 5-manning down the mid at 15 minutes. So really versatile support can fit into a number of different strategies. And, the Maledict can be really good to have with the Bounty Hunter as well because he has that nice follow-up damage to get people past thresholds.
So you exchange that dedicated stun, that long stun duration for the versatility is kind of what you're getting as Witch Doctor as you pick him up. So that's a fine trade, I think, for most people, especially considering they already have good chase potential with a Bounty Hunter. They have a disable with the Shuriken Toss track, obviously giving them the movement speed. Nature's Prophet can teleport out if there's no stuns available, but I imagine that they'll pick up another sort of disable for Evernova in one way, shape, or form, whether that's their mid or maybe it's Sven in the safe lane. There's a lot of options still here. We have to look at where what safe lanes are going to get picked up. I feel like the safe lane meta is going to change drastically with the introduction of Echo Saber and just the way the game mechanics work now. So I'm kind of curious as to what the heroes are. Like all these not just melee agility heroes or melee strength heroes got buffed, but a lot of like Drow Ranger got buffed. Mirana got buffed a little bit, although not really in terms of carry potential. I think Viper got buffed to a certain extent, even though UAMs aren't that big of a deal. He can actually use them now with his poison attack. Right. So there's still a lot of these range heroes as well that have been picked up, but it's going to be Pocket Stead, which is most minor of buffs maybe I've ever seen.
Well, some nice team fight, though. Lock people in place. Yeah, what is it? Increase illusory orb speed by 1. Yeah, that's... You're right. That might be the...
You won't be able to tell the difference, I'm pretty sure.
Most ridiculous change ever. But it does fit well here. It gives them some nice magic damage. Somebody who can kind of control the tempo set up for the Witch Doctor and the Bounty Hunter. Very mobile hero as well to kind of chase down the Quap. Nice AoE silence. Good for the channeling Crystal Maiden. It's a good pick here. Just have to, worry perhaps that it gets shut down a little bit in lane. Bounty Hunter, I guess, can help pick on the Quap. That's one of the classic matchups, the Queen of Pain versus the Puck.
Yeah, that's one of the most classic matchups, at least in Dota 2 history, for sure. Because you go back to BI2 almost, I feel like that matchup was something that everybody saw because there just wasn't that big hero pool.
Right.
And so you got used to this matchup. Can you dodge the Shadow Strike? Can you blink away from a Waning Rift? Can you do more damage? Because their damage is similar. Attack animation's a bit better for the Quap. Mobility might even be a bit better for the Quap, but the silence is something you have to factor into the Dream Quill for the Puck. So it's just like it's a real back and forth matchup, but Complexity will pick up the Juggernaut, just a solid all-around hero, provides them really good early game team fight kind of lineup, which is what they want. I think it's kind of a little bit different from their last game, but they have good split push. They have good push in general. Juggernaut will provide a lot of damage. Omni Slash obviously pretty good against Enchantress. I think it's just a good pickup overall.
Oh, yeah, I said Maledict a couple times. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm confusing the Enigma spells now.
No, you're right.
I saw Enigma get banned out, and my wires started getting crossed. So there we go. Anti-Mage banned out now by Complexity. Complexity need a stunner here, though, I think. They are definitely light on control. They've got some decent slows, but I guess this will be the defining moment. Is it a position 4 jungling Prophet, or is it the position 3 off lane? I think something like a Bane here could be pretty nice. Just a little bit of control, some nice setup for the Jug.
5 seconds remaining.
Is roaming support the norm? Is that what we're going to see now every game? Because we've seen a Bounty Hunter every game. I don't know, maybe they go for something crazy like a I guess Iron Spirit's not particularly crazy, but
I actually like this Enigma ban a lot from Evernova. Complexity is a team with a long history of playing that hero, even when he's not particularly popular.
yeah.
Would have fit very nice into this roster as well.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Complexity do with this last bit. I have a good feeling it's a support, but I don't know.
I mean, maybe like a Vengeful Spirit, somebody else that could roam. Possibly
Yeah.
an okay Rubik game as well.
Yeah, Rubik got a couple of good buffs, but
Whoa,
it's a Zeus
all right.
instead, which is
Radiant.
very
So-
interesting.
It's still a little ambiguous. Is it a position for Zeus, or is it like an...
It could be theoretically a position for Nature's Prophet, and they could put
Right.
the Quap or Zeus off lane.
Okay,
That's
like,
theoretically
yeah,
a
there
thing
you go.
do.
Safe lane
10
Jug, off lane
seconds
Quap,
remaining.
mid lane Zeus.
I don't know. I haven't really seen a Zeus support in a
5
while,
seconds remaining.
so I don't think it's that.
I
This
think
is ambiguous,
Prophet in the
isn't it?
jungle is way more likely.
Reserve time.
I've seen Complexity do off lane Quap before. They've also done Z Freak position 4 Queen of Pain in the jungle, which is not very common to see, but they have done
Yeah,
it.
they
10
they do a lot of
seconds
weird stuff. That's true. It's
Yeah.
tough. I honestly have no idea.
5
This is
seconds remaining.
But
it's a
if they can-
well-rounded draft.
If they can
but-
figure out the lanes, yeah, I think their team fight in the mid game is going to be quite good. Lifestealer here, the final choice for Evernova. So pretty good carry to have against Zeus. It is one that can definitely square up against the Juggernaut pretty well in a man fight, all things equal.
Yeah, Lifestealer is a fine choice. He was nerfed directly, buffed indirectly through Armlet and a couple of other things. But the nerf to is not being able to take the Ancient at his first level of Ultimate is kind of annoying. But he does have, I think, the highest strength gain in the game now. He's got
Really?
3.0 strength gain, so he gets very, very difficult to deal with as the game progresses. I'm pretty sure that's the case.
I think you're right. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Somebody told me that. I don't know who it was, but somebody said that Lifestealer has the highest strength gain in the game.
So which draft do you like more, Maud? I feel like this
10
draft is one of the
seconds
most even that we've seen so far, at least based on paper. The last two games, there's been one side that sort of had an obvious advantage in terms of just raw, lockdowns, ability to fight. This one strikes me as actually pretty even.
Yeah, I honestly have no idea because the Z-Free Queen of Pain support. And you've mentioned this, so you clearly have an understanding of what. So you called it to a certain extent, which is, by the way, very impressive. Because I've watched a lot of Complexity, and I have not seen Z-Freak ever play this hero. I've seen him play some weird heroes, and I've seen this team
Yeah.
play some weird lineups, but
No,
that is not something I was expecting. That's the X factor for me is what he does.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been watching this team for a long time. I think the old Fnatic was probably the team that I had followed the longest because they played Han for so long together and then switched to Dota 2. And this Complexity
Right.
squad that used to be Stay Green, at least that,
Green, right, yeah.
that core group of brothers have always sort of been together. And Z-Freak's always been that kind of flex player that in Han, he was known for playing the jungle. And when they were first getting their grounding in Dota 2, they did
30
a lot of
seconds
interesting
to
stuff with
battle.
Z-Freak in the jungle. Like I said, not particularly common, but I'm curious to see how it works. He's pretty good at finding farm where you wouldn't expect it. You don't think of a Quap as jungling too quickly, but it really comes down to the rotations. And I would imagine we'll
Yes.
see a couple early points in that Shadow Strike so they can set up some kills. But
It's interesting. You don't think of Queen of Pain as a roaming hero, right? You don't think of him
Yeah.
as somebody that excels either jungling or roaming and finding kills because you need to get that early point and blink to be effective, really, to just jump in and out if needed. You have a lot of burst damage potential right from level 1 even with Queen of Pain,
yeah.
but you're missing out on a couple of other things like, Shadow Strike. You're not going to get a level 6 quickly, which is where she really excels with the Sonic Wave. So it's just, I have a lot of questions that remain to be answered, and hopefully they do get answered. But
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going to happen.
Look
which
at
is-
this positioning already. He's looking for a courier snipe, man.
I think that's fine. I don't know if they're going to send anything out. I think, does he have money for a salve? Hold on, let me check. He does have money for a salve, so I guess it comes down to whether he actually purchases that up or not. But Limp is getting zoned out aggressively. Two supports, Derp as well as
Radiant's
Schwan,
bottom tower
both
is
mid,
under
putting
attack.
on the pressure, making it so Limp is going to miss this first round of CS, and Let Me Go is denying effectively.
Yeah, they
making sure
already
they're
took
not
out his
getting
ward.
much.
He only had one, and Witch Doctor killed it. So I think Z-Freak has the other sentry here. So it is just definitely
does.
going to be a battle for vision. Both
Something we
supports
saw,
rotating top, though.
They gave Chessie both sentries last game against the Bounty Hunters. They switched it up, but this looks like it'll be an aggro trial lane up against Complexity squad. This is going to be tough to deal with. Cass will come out now, and Hanskin is in a lot of trouble. And this is what I was talking about, abusing that movement speed and the squishiness of that poor Crystal Maiden. Even Chessie's not going to really do any damage to Derp with
Yeah.
that Blade Fury. So they miss out on First Blood Complexity. They'll get put a little bit behind here. They're even going to have to rotate Z-Freak up, but How will they take advantage of this Queen of Pain? What can she actually do in lane? What can the CM do as well is the big question.
Yeah, off-lane Swindle should be pretty okay against Ho. Okay against the Enchantress should be a fairly even farm fest. If left alone, I think Zeus can be at least self-sufficient against Puck. Not going to be able to farm as much as he'd like, but will be able to use that Arc Lightning. It's going to come down to this top lane. Try on try for now. Xuan and Derp still lingering nearby, and they've got the vision advantage. They've got the Sentry Ward down, so they know this range where he's able to just kind of control the territory. Z-Freak, he's struggling here, Mott. He's only level 1, chewing through his tangos pretty fast, and hasn't really been able to accomplish too much.
Yeah, I don't know. This is such a strange pick for me. I know they want maybe to try something. Well, let's be honest. I mean, I don't think they're that concerned about this tournament, considering what's on the line and what's coming up next. I think that.
I mean, there's definitely a factor of they can probably outskill their opponents to some degree. So that means they definitely have some wiggle room to experiment or get away with these stranger lineups. But it's now a double stack here. Looks like Z-Freak will get the pull through, so at least have this XP to work with.
Limp getting zoned at by Xuan, but he had a Sentry Ward placed down, so he saw it coming, and he's got a good Observer Ward on the other side of the river as well to see any other rotations coming in. So finally, he gets some room to actually get some last hits, and he's only 1 or 2 behind that of the Puck now, and he's getting fine experience. Swindles was getting pretty heavily destroyed in terms of trades down bottom. He was taking a lot of damage. He's out of region currently. He finally has the wave under his tower, and he's caught up to a certain extent in terms of last hits, but he's still 4 behind of the Enchantress. So
yeah,
it is a little even. I feel like if Evernova can find themselves a couple more kills in this top lane, they'll be in a good spot, but they've already rotated the bounty out, and so it's an aggro dual lane versus a now defensive tri lane for complexity.
Yeah, an interesting call to start moving the bounty around. Xuan, only level 2 now, 3 minutes in. Probably one of the better starts we've seen for a bounty hunter comparatively. At least has an assist now. He picked up the early Windlace, so he does have some extra movement speed here to pair with the Oov. Swindle going to find himself in a world of hurt. He's got the TP scroll. Bounty does not have Shuriken Toss, so I think Swindle can just TP out here if things get real sticky. Enchantress nearby trying to throw in some auto attacks. Swindle trying to TP out. The Sprout comes, and he'll be just fine.
Good play.
Well done.
And he didn't have any regen, so he could salve up if he wanted to be back to the tier 1 tower. So it will push him out of lane and make sure that he's low on experience, maybe not where he wants to be. Ward was dropped right in range of that sentry in the top lane, so Evernovas will be able to take down some vision. Hans getting a little bit upset about that.
Swindle coming mid. They want to have a go on Let Me Go.
He'll be fine. They can't bring him down without a silence or something. Or some
yeah,
sort
interesting
of
that Swindle TP'd there. I don't know why I thought there was some other trickery afoot. There must have been some kind of a plan, but he'll just move into the jungle now and get some of his farm going for himself.
What is Z-Freak accomplishing now? He has 2 last hits. He has level 2. He's not really doing anything. He's kind of leeching experience top. And
Lifestealer's not a hero that you can easily zone. Once he gets a Stout Shield, between that and Feast, he's fairly sustainable in lane to those occasional pokes from the Quap. They're going to rotate in, though.
They're going to make it go into Derp. He gets the cast off. Z-Freak will try to TP out, and we'll make it away. The Crystal Nova Derp might not be so lucky. In fact, will go down. Now Xuan is going to be have his attention turned towards, and then Chessie with the frostbite. Now they're going to get off a beautiful spin, but he doesn't get the last hit to get the kill. He's going to get into the tree line, and Xuan will survive. He'll stay very low, and Hanskin is going to get brought down by the Lifestealer. Chessie can try to go toe-to-toe. I don't know if that's the best idea, though, against the Lifestealer, and so it turns into a 1-for-1 at the end.
Well, pretty even across the stage of things. 2 TPs out. One of them makes it, one of them doesn't. And then there's the carry versus support duels, and one of them survives, and one of them doesn't. Kind of an unfortunate call for Chessie there, though. Xuan was so close to going down. He will suicide into the neutrals after he buys all of his items, takes that free taxi trip back. Nothing too surprising there.
Dusel comes out, maybe just to scout, see what's going on. Not sure where the supports are. Z-Freak just showed up to bottom. Maybe just trying to put some pressure, or excuse me, I completely lost it there. Evernova's the one getting scouted. Nobody was really in danger of dying, but now top lane, they're going to look for maybe Chessie. He has Blade Fury, so open wounds won't be able to slow him if he pops that off. And he is alone, though, and there's 3 heroes up here, and Xuan is looking for an initiation.
Yeah, Chessie does have his phase boots, though, so he's nice and fast. We'll scoot away. Meanwhile, in the mid, Let Me Go in a lot of trouble, and they find the kill. It's Handskin that secures it. A nice rotation from the Crystal Maiden. It's a pretty big kill for complexity. Levels it out 2-2. And now Zeus starts to take control. He hits level 7, Puck at the very beginning of 6, and now the tides will start to turn a little bit.
Yeah, it's just the Puck doesn't have a lane to farm for 22 seconds. Hanskin gets more experience out of this. They'll put him up to level 4, so he's going to get another skill point to use. It's just a nice kill that they needed to get.
Yeah. I'm chuckling because Twitch chat is still arguing about whether Z-Freak played 5 or jungler in Han. Newsflash, he played both, folks. So we're all right. He was a flex player. But he did play jungle for a fair bit of his time in Heroes of New Earth. That is definitely true.
Yeah, I feel like you might know about that game, Heroes of New Earth. You might have an idea about it.
No, it's just funny. It's like, no, he's only played one role. It's like, well, guys, he's been playing games for a pretty long time. He's done a lot of stuff in his day. Courier almost gets sniped here by the bounty hunter, but they do speed it away and not enough damage to one-shot kill.
There it is. He's got the windlace already. He's good to go.
He's cruising, dude.
Juan's in business.
So they are rotating things about. Z-Freak with an invisibility rune. He is now level 3, 2 points in the dagger, and nothing in the scream for now. So they do have a pretty decent slow here. They may try to set something up on the Enchantress. Pretty beefy build here. 3-1-2 at level 7. Of course, with a point in the ultimate. And here we go behind the tower. Z-Freak hops in. They burst her down low. She gets off the attendants. Now do they have the right clicks to make it happen? Limp.
Lightning bolt and a Zeus ult.
Walking under the tower. The Zeus ult. It's not enough. Limp dies. Oh, no. Not what complexity we're hoping for. Z-Freak now in a sticky situation. He'll hide in the tree line, and he should be able to make it out here. He does have a TP, so he's fine. Wow.
That's level 2 Nature's Attendants. Yeah, she doesn't have the most HP in the world, but that probably shouldn't have happened. That should have been a kill.
Yeah.
But it's just odd.
I mean,
they had one more auto attack from Swindles. That's probably a kill, but nothing you could do. You don't have the burst. You wouldn't Shadow Strike instead of Scream. I'm not sure if that's the wrong choice, but you don't have the burst damage to kill her, obviously.
Yeah. I think it's good in general with this kind of co-op, but in that particular situation, you just need the burst damage to blow her up. You know, she's not going to survive because she's running away. She's going to survive because you can't right-click her down for the kill. Looks like Lifesteal's going armlet.
The puck getting behind because he died mid, now it's even again.
Really? Oh, yeah. That's a pretty costly rotation for Limp, so yeah, I guess it will level out.
I don't think that Complexity are in a particularly good spot. Evernova's farming well on the Lifestealer and the Enchantress. They are the top 2 in net worth. And Lifestealer is going to have what I imagine to be an armlet pretty soon, which is going to make him very, very hard to deal with because number 1, he'll have extra HP. Number 2, he can rage off a lot of the magical damage, which they have a lot of. Number 3, the auto attacks coming out from the Nature's Prophet, and maybe a little bit of the Jugs will be mitigated. So I feel like once this Lifestealer gets cruising with his God, I'm messing up so much with his armlet, he'll be good to go, and they can just start fighting because they'll have the Enchantress ready to go. She's picked up an Ogre Club, and she's got the 1 band of Elven skin already. So it is a pretty good start so far for Evernova. All they have to do is be aggressive with this bounty hunter. He has been scouted out. He'll be dusted. Swindles is looking for a sprout. The Zeus Lightning Bolt will come in, and he's got ulti. He probably can get it with the kill here. Nature's Wrath will do the job instead, which is fine too.
There you go. Yeah, I think the bounty hunter is probably the weak point here for Evernova. I mean, their supports in general are pretty poor. We'll see Z-Freak get silenced in the mid. Puck not going to be able to find a kill as Quat blinks away. Meanwhile, a push in the bottom lane here with this Satyr Tormentor, compliments of the Enchantress. But yeah, Bounty is really far behind at this point, Mod. He's only level 3, and it seemed like he had a really good start, but we're almost 10 minutes into this game, and he's halfway to his ultimate. That's still a long way to go before Track's even online, let alone before he can even really do much in these fights.
Yeah, but this is where he's going to make it up, assuming they don't, like, dust him and dive him, you know. Well, they know that he's there now, so that was dangerous, but there's nobody with detection, at least not yet. Z-Freak's coming. He doesn't have dust. Limp's coming. He doesn't have dust. The Lightning Bolt. He'll leech experience here. This should probably get him to 4, at least this creep wave. We're close to it. They're already taking... They're going to try to fight this. They've TP'd down bottom. They've invested in somebody. They're going to TP in.
Derp with a beautiful cast. It's actually bouncing around like crazy. Huge damage coming out of Chessie, though, as EN are all grouped up. They go 1-for-1. Witch Doctor for CM, but now Chessie's in too deep. He'll fall next. It's Limp on the run, but Ho okay trying to chase him down. TP scrolls will come out aplenty. And Z-Freak will just walk away. They don't hold the tower, but they do trade 1 for 2. And they'll take that. Good fight here for our Radiant team.
And that was before the armlet was ready for the Lifestealer. By the way, I think Jug did have his level 6. Couldn't get the Omni Slash off. The Blade Fury had gone, and he had just taken too much damage. He didn't want to try to use his Omni Slash there. So that could have been better for Complexity. Could have been better for Evernova's too. They probably could have gotten a 3rd hero had they had another disable, but they just didn't have it in the tank. So It's going to get hard now. Complexity lose their carry, and he was the one that was leading the way. He still is, at least for Complexity.
Come in handy.
And he's going to go Battle Fury, so they're going to, or at least he'll pick up a Ring of Regents. They're going to probably look for a more late game oriented type of build for Chessie.
Wow. That's stat. Is that really the fastest all time?
That seems... I can see that because everyone was so caught up with the whole phase drum build for a long time.
Yeah,
or
there's
phase
been a
SNY.
long while where nobody was playing Lifestealer and nobody was buying Armlet. So
Yeah,
the
Armlet was the
cross
last
section
item you
between
buy.
those two is
Radiant's
like,
bottom tower is under
yeah, nobody
attack.
does that. An era playing Lifestealer Armlet, that sounds like an era thing to do, man.
Yeah, it does sound like an air thing. And, well, I don't want to say nobody was building Armlet, but it wasn't
It was not the
generally-
go-to item. I don't think
No.
it was regarded as particularly good.
Maybe you got it after phase drum, after the FNC build. Limp's going to get Dream Coiled mid. They missed the Illusion Orb damage, but the cast will come out. The Death Ward will do the job. And Lightning Bolt Zeus Sold almost gets the kill. And they actually let me go. Has to use his Fairy Fire to stay alive. Schwan and everybody's pretty low, but the heal coming out from the Buddha Restoration. And again, it's level 2. We talked about the versatility of the Witch Doctor, and that's it right there. Damage and healing all together in the same spot. And they find an easy and great pickup on the Zeus, Limp Zeus. And
Yeah,
it's not
much
great.
needed XP for this bounty hunter, man. He's now level 5. Tome's coming out. Have they
Oh, he
bought
wants a
the,
bounty,
the
or-
tome yet on the Radiant side? No, they've... Oh, yeah, they did. I wonder who ate it. I hope it was the bounty hunter.
They just bought it. I think it was him. I want to say it was him. I might be wrong about that. I think
Dyer's
I
middle
can't
Oh, no,
tell.
Complexity just bought theirs. Z-Freak took it. Yum, yum, yum. So he's almost level 7 now.
Evernova's not buy theirs? They have bought. Evernova's
Theirs is on
used
cooldown.
theirs. Trying to figure out who bought. I think it was the bounty, but I have no idea. Anyways,
Well,
so
Yeah, that's-
Z-Freak is level 6 now, which is good. He's got 2 points in Scream, so he has some burst potential. This is maybe where it gets a little easier, as Sonic Wave, of course, going through
Yeah.
BKB is always nice.
I mean,
against
one
range.
thing that Z-Freak does really well in these roles is he didn't die. It's not like he was feeding or in really aggressive positions. He just didn't farm super fast. But he did pick up 2 assists. He's almost level 7. So all things considered, I mean, he's doing all right. He's on par with the Radiant supports and even ahead of the Witch Doctor on point with the Bounty Hunter. So when you look at it in that context, he's really done an okay job. Xuan now rotating in mid, still very low, but here we go. The jump out onto Lib. The Infest does so much damage with the Dream Coil. Puck does clip Z-Freak, jaunts forward, and Blink will be on cooldown for about 10 seconds. This could actually be a close call here. Let me go. Blink's forward. A few more auto attacks. He might be able to have it. He has the orb, and that's the kill.
Is under attack.
It's a twofer, but now can Puck get out? Omni Slash gets it. 1 for 2. Chessie cleans house.
Is under attack.
Did he phase shift? I don't know if he
Radiant's
did or
bottom
not.
tower has
Either way, I think he had, and he didn't use it in time. And Chessie was able to Omni Slash between the time between him jaunting and phase shifting, which was nice. So he was one hit away from death. So nice kill that was really needed for Chessie. And they've been split pushing, and Swindles has found himself that bottom tier 1 tower, and he's also found himself a bit of farm there as well. So they're actually, it's not that far behind. In fact, there's only an 1,000 net worth of advantage for Evernovas.
Yeah.
It feels like it should be more.
Right now, the disparity is really in the mid laners. Puck now a bit ahead of the Zeus, compliments of the string of kills we just witnessed, but Limp on his way to the Veil of Discord, and his team is doing a good job. Once again, just like the game we saw just a match prior, they're doing a great job splitting the map here. Chessie working on the Battle Fury, stacks up the Ancients, and he's going to have it pretty darn soon. Meanwhile, in the top lane, they're going on the Enchantress. 2 ultimates deployed, still not enough for a kill.
I can't believe that didn't kill her. That's insane. She has level 4 heal, so I guess it's not that crazy, but
And the Dragon Lance, so 15 strength. Yeah, she's a little beefcake.
that's nuts. I can't believe those two. Oh, it's plus the Scream can't bring her down. Well, that's rather unfortunate, because this leaves Evernova's door wide open for them to push mid. There's absolutely no real reason for Complexity to get ahead of themselves here and try to defend this. I know that the tier 1 tower mid especially is a very important access point if you're Complexity, but this is a tough defense. They have the Glyph, they'll use it. Swindles has picked up his Orchid. There's the Dream Coil on the other side. It's been broken as Z-Freak's going to get jumped on. There's going to be the Winning Rift, but they won't go any further. There's Derp Derp. Cast will come through and bounce up. Great Death Ward, but he's going to get silenced immediately, coming out with the Orchid Malevolence. Now the Blade Fury coming through. Z-Freak's still in trouble. Scream will go out before he goes down. Nature's Wrath does some nice damage. Chessie does not have Omni, so he'll back away. In the meantime, they do pick up that tier 1 tower, so it is a
Radiant's top
support
tower
for
is under
support.
attack.
So it's not that bad of a trade, but they did lose that tier 1 tower in the end.
Dude, that cask was so good for the Witch Doctor. It looked like Complexity split perfectly to outrange it, and then it must have been close to the max to bounce back, and then it just took over the team fight. I really thought it was going to stop right in the middle.
Yeah, that was
Pretty wild. Complexity doing a really good job managing their Ancients, though. Now Swindle's going to come over and help Chessie out. Only about 700 gold away from that Battle Fury. Uh-oh, Xuan walks right into Crystal Maiden. She does have level 4 Crystal Nova and a Sentry Ward down. They could set up a kill here. Meanwhile, on the other
no.
side, Swindle comes in. The ult comes out from Zeus. They get 2, and they might even get 3. Mercy, please, on the run. Trying to toggle that armlet. Chessie has already used the ult, and I think the Ghoul should survive here.
Yeah, he's pretty speedy with phase.
Yeah. All right, still a twofer. They'll be happy with a kill on the puck, that's for sure.
He's going Desolator, by the way. He's picked up the Blightstone, so
Dire's middle tower
armor reduction
is
it
under
is
attack.
the choice for the Lifestealer, which I'm fine with too. That's a good choice, I think.
Yeah. I do really like the
Radiant's
Blightstone
middle
change.
tower
I think
is
it just
under
makes the item make more
Radiant's
sense. You know, you get a mini
structures are
version of it
fortified.
early on, and then you build into it.
Dire's top tower is under
I
attack.
feel like it somehow it doesn't necessarily
Radiant's
make Medallion
middle
useless,
tower
but
is
I
under
feel like
attack.
you don't have to build Medallion if you don't want to.
Yeah, I guess the difference is Medallion still gives you the armor, so it's good on heroes that have low armor themselves. The Blightstone doesn't have that aspect, but you make a good point. There's the Hurricane Pike, though, on the Enchantress, the big item. So we'll
I'm
see her
excited.
flying all over the place, unlimited range.
I am excited to see how this works. It kind of comes down to attack speed, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I still just think it's a really good tool for disengaging. It's different from a regular Force Staff where you have to turn, you have to do stuff. This is like somebody jumps on you and you just pop it right on him, and you know you're safe from at least that big scary target. Like that's something that is a kind of a unique mechanic to Dota. There aren't many things that are like that instantly repel you from another target without a skill shot, you know? Like Earth Spirit sort of has that when he gets Ags, but it's not super easy to use. This is a way different mechanic.
Yeah, it is. It's a strange mechanic for sure. When I heard of it, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's another one that you read it and you're like, huh, that's funky. And then you see it and go, oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, you read it and you're like, wow, that's perfect for Nature's Prophet, or for Enchantress.
Yeah.
And then that's it. That's all you see.
You know who else is really good on Drow Ranger, man? I tried it earlier today, and it's pretty darn good.
Yeah, I can imagine that with how hard she already hits. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and also the Dragonlance build-up is great for her. You just get straight agility and strength. Those like the two things she wants early on. Get a little HP and just go all agi. It's really not so bad. And nobody ever really complains about having a Force Staff, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
Nobody ever really.
Radiant's
Everyone's
top
happy.
tower
Issue with
is
that.
under attack.
Orchid is up on Swindle, though.
Yeah, he had that the last fight's how they canceled the death board because he orchid it up and
Yeah.
quite bottom. Chessie is dead. Wow, he died quickly. I think they had a shard golem or a mud golem, and that's what he was infested in. And he boulders smashed and probably just
Radiant's top
Yeah.
jumped
tower
out and
is
killed him
under
pretty
attack.
quickly with
Those
his
infest
Desolator
bombs are
armlet.
scary.
He does a lot of damage. Right now with his armlet toggle, he does about just above
Dire's
200,
bottom
maybe
tower is
220.
under attack.
Yeah. Even with it off, he still hits hard. And then there's feast damage on top of that. Now they're going to defend down bottom. Swindle trying to TP out. It's going to be close, and he is not going to make it. He's going to die in the well back home. Oh, the poor Prophet. A close call.
Yeah, they TP'd right into that tower. They could have tried it back, but I don't think it would have done really anything. Some good splitting of the map. Now they're going to go for Z-Freak in the bottom lane with the Death Ward coming out. They get off the Shuriken. He can't even blink away. They had no silence or anything. He just gets destroyed in just
Nice
really
track kill.
quick fashion. Yeah, it's just another pickup coming up for Nova. They have a kill advantage. They have a net worth advantage, although it's a small net worth advantage of 1,000. And when it comes to the late game, I feel as though Complexity are in a good spot. It's tough. It's a Nature's Prophet as well as a Zeus and Juggernaut versus a Puck, a Lifestealer, and Enchantress. So it's sort of even, but the Jug getting Battle Fury kind of changes things a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is still really even, not just in metrics, but in terms of like power curve and when they spike. Both teams should be able to continue team fighting for the next 10-15 minutes, and then once we get towards late game territory, Complexity might start to pull ahead, especially based on the build that Swindle's gone for. He's a little bit more of a right clicker, kind of damage centric, but this Radiant squad, Evernova can still scale pretty well themselves. Lifestealer is fabulous in the late game. We're going to see Swindle get initiated on here, and just look at the damage. I mean, he just evaporates. Puck is
Infest bombs are back, baby.
gone for the Veil of Discord. A cute little synergy there with the Infest damage. It is
Yes,
indeed magical.
Exactly.
I like
I was
that.
about to say that. A lot of damage that you don't really expect to come out from an Infest bomb,
Radiant's
but
top tower has
I almost thought the Puck had a Dagon for a second there, but the Veil is a really creative solution.
yeah, and so because Complexity have decided to play the split push sort of late game oriented lineup, they're not really ready to take these fights yet. Whereas Evernova are starting to hit their peak. In fact, they get a Blink Dagger for the Lifestealer, which is, I think, a great pickup. I don't even know if it's necessary considering that he already has Infest to work with, but they're starting to move ahead. You know, you look at the net worth now, and the net worth chart, I should say. And obviously Chessie's up there, but you see the other three
Regeneration.
Yeah.
a little bit further away than I think Complexity might like. But they'll smoke up and they'll head either to Roche or down bottom.
Looks like it's going to be Roche. Good call on that Blink Dagger as well. It's going to be Lifestealer's next item. So more initiation. He's got the free taxi with Puck's Blink Dagger, and now he's going to have one of his own to jump into the back line. That really makes him scary. Then Enchantress on top of that with a lot of range on her auto attacks with the Impetus. She'll probably be moving into Aghanim's Scepter coming up before too long here. Roche going down quickly, and it looks like a scan will be used by both teams. Not going to reveal a hell of a lot, and Complexity will know that they're going to be safe in the Roche pit. When they use scans at the same time, it is hard to tell whose is whose.
I saw that Evernova use it first, and they were able to scout out that somebody was in fact mid, and then the other scan didn't reveal anything.
So
I think that maybe actually helped Complexity to actually get
Yeah.
that Aegis. They'll try to TP out, and Swindles will make it away just barely. They almost got on top of one of the Dreamcoil and
I missed that kill down bottom on Quap, but I'm pretty sure like Ho just used his Hurricane Pike. Quap blinked into the trees, and he just chinked him down because there's nothing that the Quap could do. Like literally, it's just max range. You used to be able to blink into the tree line, and now you can't. Like that's. I wish I saw how much damage the
I mean,
Enchantress
Z-Freak
did.
is very squishy. I mean, he has
Yeah,
no
that's a good
nullity,
point,
he has
yeah.
no bracer, he has no treads. He went full caster mode. So if
Holding
his
on to the
HP
Tome of Knowledge, like, don't hit me. I have the knowledge.
I'd be surprised if he was over 1,000 HP. In fact, I'd be very surprised if he was over 1,000 HP. I'm pretty sure he's not even
940.
close.
Yeah, you're right. He's just
Oh,
under.
He's actually pretty close. That's kind of surprising. He's level 11, I guess, but
Still, I'm sure he died quickly. That's the point that I'm trying to make there.
I'm sure you're absolutely right. I didn't see it either, but I'd have to imagine. Zeus's gonna come out.
Ooh, they
See, they know
Brownie.
that Schwann is there, but they don't have the detection for it. They dust, and
Oh.
it's just out of range. They need to maybe think about picking up a gem next.
Yeah. They were. I don't know why they hesitated so much. They saw the Zeus ult, so they knew nobody else was really in the vicinity. I think they could have just jumped on him and dusted right away, but the hesitation does cost them. Interesting build here from the Enchantress as well. Ho-OK delays the Ags and stops off for a Blink Dagger after the Hurricane Pike, so going for even more mobility now. Top lane, derp. Going to be initiated on. Looks like Swindle TP'd in from behind the lines. They get the kill there. Meanwhile, back in the bottom, they'll lose Z-Freak. Crystal Maiden tries to TP home, but Yules interrupts it, and now Handskin will fall as well. It's a 1-for-2, and the Radiant squad find the advantage.
Evernovas are in a very good spot. Schwann is getting great vision, keeping tabs on everybody. Meanwhile, Veil's used up, I believe. That was from Limp, and now Let Me Go is going to jump in with his Jaunt. He'll blink further and forward.
Oh,
He actually, Schwann destroys the Nature's Prophet as they get the
Oh.
infest bomb out.
that was
Coming
just
out from Limp, and Limp might make it away.
dirty.
No, the
Another
Yules comes in.
Yules. Mott, they're
They're-
falling apart.
Yeah, they really are. He has no way of getting out of this. He's a Ghost Scepter. Will not help him to the Shuriken Toss that comes out from the Bounty Hunter, which brings him down. That's 4 dead for Complexity in the span of about
That's
a minute and
huge.
a half. So,
Their team just got completely crippled. And it was all of these super spread out fights. It's just like Complexity's trying to play this pickoff game. And Evernova are like, all right, that works for us. We've got better pickoff than you. We've got a Bounty Hunter. We've got an Enchantress. Like, all of their heroes have solo kill potential. You know, like Crystal Maiden, sure, she can do some damage, but she's not particularly scary. You bump into anyone on this Radiant side, and they're doing some damage. You know, even Witch Doctor, if he catches you next to a creep, he could get you with a Cask Death Ward and find a kill of his own. It's a pretty scary lineup they're going up against.
can I just say that I feel like this Queen of Pain experiment has been a failure? I don't think Z-Freak... We talked about him not dying early on in the game, but he's died 5 times since then.
Yeah, no, you're
So
right.
He's not really been involved in kills. He hasn't contributed everything. Every time he's been involved in an initiation or fight, it's been on the Enchantress, and she survived both times. They will find Schwann. Omnislash will come through. Good mech to keep him alive. They might not even be able to bring him down. Zeusult will finish him off now. The Impetus is coming out. Good Sprout, but Swindle's in trouble. The Open Wound's going to work. That'll bring him down easily. Dreamcoil on the other side. Chessie pops up a healing ward, but they are in trouble as they are both low. The Death Ward will come out. That's the Aegis. It's a 2-for-1 trade, but they are going to have to leave Chessie here alone, probably to die. The Illusion Orb will come through. He's going to try to face himself away with the Blade Fury. He's 1 hit away from death, and that will be the Puck getting himself a double kill. And that's their carry dead for 62 seconds, and they just cannot find anything other than a Bounty Hunter. And
That
some
was
great reactions from
such a
Evernova.
convincing fight. Like you said, they had to commit a lot for the bounty, and Complexity are just getting picked apart. You see Queen of Pain still with her ultimate, Nature's Prophet still with his ultimate. That was just not a choreographed team fight. That was Evernova just picking Complexity apart one at a time. Mercy Please completely soloed Swindle, like 5-shot him while he was trying to TP out, and the rest of the team just went to work. I think Complexity are in a lot of trouble here, Mott. The gold graph still isn't that scary. It's only about a 5K net worth experience lead, but I don't know how Complexity turned this around. Like, how do they regain the momentum here? They do pick up a gem, so maybe that's a starting point, but I'm getting nervous. They could be upset here.
Well, I mean, I just think that they have to kind of have the perfect team fight, and even if they do, I don't think they'll be able to bring down the Lifestealer or even maybe the Enchantress if she gets her heal off. She's already very tanky as it is. Dwindles was doing a fair bit of damage early game with that Orchid. He was getting a kill or two, but these Infest Bombs are tough. Seafreak's not doing nearly enough damage as support. They haven't gotten any CM ultis off. I feel like Let Me Go is doing such a great job with his Dream Coils and his Silences and his Eul Scepters. It's been pretty impeccable, I'd have to say. He's the driving force, in my opinion, of Evernova's draft, and so far they've been playing it to a T. He's going to pick up yet another Void Stone. This will probably build into a Hex, maybe a Lincoln Sphere, but more than likely a Hex. Now the jump in, they're going to get Mercy Please. Good Ghost Scepter comes out. He can't even get off the Zeus ult, though. He gets stunned up. The Death Ward comes through. Good freezing field, but it only really zones them out. Finally, they're starting to take some damage. They'll actually take down one. Puck almost falls, but they've already lost Chessie. Here comes the Sonic Wave. Does some damage. It'll be a triple kill, however, for the Enchantress. Limp will get a Lightning Bolt. That'll be a counter kill up onto the Puck, but now they're just diving into Tier 3 tower, pushing them back. And Complexity are getting corralled, the only survivor being that of the Queen of Pain. They'll buy back on Limp. That puts them pretty far behind, and they'll continue to push here as OK still has a lot of mana in the tank, and Mercy Please, he's fine.
Yeah, high ground under assault here. The buyback on the Zeus, as you mentioned, and this should be enough to repel Evernova. They don't have a lot of resources left, and they will just hightail it out of there. The Puck almost lived at the end as well. If that was another, basic team wipe for Bounty Hunter Exchange, that's like almost the dream for this Radiant team. Of all of the heroes that get killed, I think they're willing to sacrifice that Bounty Hunter, because as long as he gets some tracks up, he's still doing his job. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, they don't care about sacrificing the bounty at this point. As long as he gets his mech off, too. That's another important thing, is get your mech off, get a couple of tracks up, maybe use your force once. That's fine. You could die. You're okay with that.
Yeah.
But even if he doesn't do that, his team is still in a very good spot. I mean, now the Enchantress not only has a Blink Dagger, Hurricane Pike, he also has an Aghanim Scepter, so he doesn't need the Hurricane Pike, really, to find some kills here. He could still just shoot from the back line like you'd see old Enchantresses do. Schwann and Z-Freak were going toe-to-toe. Z-Freak will not win that battle any day of the week. Z-Freak has literally no items that actually do anything other than change his movement speed and give him mana and True Sight. He has, like, no actual stats items whatsoever except for the wand, which does not give you anything.
Yeah, like, watching that replay back, it kind of feels like Complexity just did not expect Evernova to dive that deep. I mean, they just ran in there like no holds barred. We'll see a smoke get broken straight away by the Bounty Hunter. They put down a sentry, but they won't be able to catch him. He has a Force Staff of his own and does scoot back to safety. So nice positioning there from Juan, as he does prevent a smoke gang from coming his team's way. Now Prophet in the bottom lane, going to get initiated on here.
He's
Puck
probably
with
dead.
BOTs on the way in. The creep actually dies, but now Enchantress uses the Hurricane Pike. And just look at how much damage she does. Even with the nerf to the max damage, it is still ridiculous.
That's pretty funny, honestly. That's just
It's
to
so good.
see that. If as soon as the Hurricane Pike hits, you know that he's probably dead one way or another. There's just no way he's surviving.
My question is, what do you do against it? Like, it's obviously a great item, but once Enchantress gets it, what do you do? How do you handle it?
Ban Enchantress or get more... like, this could have been so much easier had they had more burst damage of the magical form. I think... I don't honestly know what they could have done differently other than not pick Quap for Z-Freak. They tried an experiment. It's so far failed. If they come back in this game, I will be the first to eat crow, but I do not see this working out. Chessie...
It's a tall order. They can still do it.
Field to farm a creep wave. Chessie pauses. I hope that's like is your computer bugging out? What's going on? Do you need help? What's happening?
Yeah, right. It's an interesting staff
like,
that CM's got. It's all warded out. I like that.
I guess it's not the worst. It's an 87-second cooldown, but
still not really ideal, I think you could say. I definitely underestimated the amount of damage Lifestealer would do. I mean, he's had a pretty good game across the board, 6-0 and 11, has yet to die in nearly 30 minutes, and they were in an aggro tri-lane, kind of against the odds for some of it. But the amount of damage that he's been able to put out just with the infest bombs and the right clicks, I mean, this build is nasty. Early armlet into Desolator, he's super survivivable,
Yes,
and
that's
he
the
does
biggest thing, I
a
think.
huge amount of damage. And with the Desolator, you can siege towers really, really quite easily. You don't think of Lifestealer as a good tower sieging hero, but if he's carrying a Deso, then all of
And
a
an AC
sudden
now
you
as
can
well.
you can chunk him down. Yeah, absolutely.
So Mercy Please is, we talked about this earlier on in the game, how the armlet gave you that, what you were missing, which was armor, essentially, for a lot of these strength heroes. And he has it in spades now. Not only that, but he has the highest strength growth, I believe, in the game currently, sitting at 1740 without his armlet turned on. The only time he takes damage really is when they get the veil onto him, and then a couple of lightning bolts and maybe a Zeus ult, and that gets him pretty low, is the magic weakness. And he doesn't have rage up. If he doesn't have rage up, he needs to be a bit more careful. But if he has that rage up, he is not really in any real trouble whatsoever. Right? They just don't have the right click yet to be able to bring him down, especially with all the armor that he has. The Omni Slash maybe will do some work if it's a solo Omni, but even then it's going to be tough to bring him down because he can toggle, maybe infest out.
Looks like Complexity's having some issues here. This has been a tough game for Swindle. He's been picked off a lot. I feel like he's actually found a pretty surprising amount of farm, but they've been fairly unrelenting with his split pushing.
They changed about Nature's Prophet. I know they changed something. Let me look it up. Tramp bounty increase and visions reduced. So, I mean, it's still pretty much the same old Nature's Prophet, other than vision and giving some extra gold away. But maybe that's it. Maybe that's another thing that they've got going for Evernova, is that they, on top of getting the kill on the Furion, they're finding some extra gold with those treants. And Dwindles has just been, every time I've seen him farming, he's using, and I don't think this is a bad play, he's used his Orchid off cooldown to just use it on a creep to kill it quickly. So he should theoretically be farming faster, but it's because he's died so often. He had 6 deaths, and a lot of those came in the mid game. He's really been stifled in farm. He's been sitting on this Orchid and Phase and Ogre Club for at least 10 minutes now, I think.
Yeah.
So it's been a tough game, you're right. And it's not like Chessie's doing much better. He's the little glimmer of hope that Complexity has, but because he went for the Battle Fury, he was ineffective in the mid game. He's been pretty shut down here. They haven't really found a good team fight for him to get all of his work done with, and you could argue that maybe if he went SNY, they would have a better chance of winning some of these team fights instead of just going for the straight Battle Fury, but against this Lifestealer Enchantress, I just don't think it would have made a difference in this.
I don't know. I like the idea of having something to fall back on. If they didn't get any kind of farming tools, then it's like, well, if they pull ahead in these mid-game fights, then we're really in trouble. At least now Chessie has a way to farm back into this game. If things do slow down a little bit, if they get some breathing room, it's pretty good. I also think the Battle Fury is just really good synergy with the Omni Slash. Like in this next fight for defending high ground, just having that cleave to clear out all the creeps and do some kind of splash damage to the heroes nearby. It gives you an added incentive to grab that item on Juggernaut, not just for the farming, but also for the damage with the ult,
I feel like if he gets jumped on with the Dream Coil Silence, though, that's probably, especially at high ground, it's probably just going to be dieback or game, one of the two.
That's very true. And he is the only melee hero, so someone's got to get initiated on, unless coL or the complete aggressors. So that's a good point.
I think Evernovas are going to be the ones that they're going to get an Aegis, probably in the Lifestealer or Puck, and then they're going to go hard on somebody or an objective. They're even still looking for a gank now. They barely miss Swindles. They see him there. They're going to find actually the Infest, and they actually get the Veil off on him. He's silenced up. He can't TP out. He did not have a TP scroll, unfortunately. Or he did, actually. He didn't use it. He's going to buy back immediately. TP in. They're going to try to fight this. They're actually going to get the silence on that Mercy, please. This could be a huge kill. He's got his armlet still on. He's going to take a lot of damage. Sonic Wave, the Zeus ult. He'll toggle and stay alive with the rage coming out. They'll find him. They need a Sprout or something. He doesn't toggle right. He actually goes down to the last tick as his toggle goes down.
Oh, my. Well, that's a little bit of an unfortunate way to go out, though. He did almost survive, so a noble effort there for the Lifestealer. Juggernaut now picks up the Echo Saber. So you mentioned heroes not only with bashes, but with a crit. A lot of potential for some RNG there. If you get a double crit with that swing, it could be pretty dirty. So big pickup for Complexity, though. A sign of life. Wow, look at that net worth. My God, it's way more out of control than we thought. 15K is the net worth lead here for Evernova.
Well, you have to take a look at the net worth chart and see that you have, okay, well, first of all, the Lifestealer is 2K ahead. And then you have the Enchantress as well as the Puck, who are both equally farmed. The Enchantress got way more than she should have. And then in terms of the offlaner, like I talked about, Swindle's just been shut down. And so the Zeus has as well. The Zeus was even with the Puck for a while, but hasn't been able to accomplish a lot because his team's just dying every second. They're just not a very tanky team. They don't have anything that can stand up to a lifestealer, which was a great pick, by the way, I think, this game. That
Absolutely.
and the puck, too. The Infest Bomb strat, I mean, we haven't really seen it.
It's a classic. I mean,
It
we've
is.
seen it way in the past. We have not seen it recently.
Right, exactly.
And,
But it's working.
Absolutely, man. So things are going to slow down a little bit here. Complexity always looking for opportunities to farm and just get any kind of recovery they can on their side courts here. Zeus has had to go for a Ghost Scepter earlier than usual. And, you know, it's a good item here, no doubt. You need it against the Lifestealer and even the physical damage to the Death Ward. But I don't think it's an item that Zeus ever wants to go early on. You know, I think he definitely would rather have some mobility or some more damage-based items like Ether Lens. Here we go. Chessie, though, gets initiated on. Set up by the puck, the Hurricane Pike, and good night, Juggernaut.
Bottom tower is
I mean, what do you
This is
do?
Roche easily. Well, they're going to get Roche, and they probably get some free damage on some of these. Well, I mean, it depends on how much Swindles and the rest of the squad can push out these lanes. They'll probably just get Roche and try to find another pick before they can head over to the high ground because the lanes are so pushed out at this point. But that's a pretty big kill.
I just look at that and ask myself, what do you do against it? I mean, you can sort of mumble, yeah, well, you just shouldn't get initiated on, but, I mean,
He could have bought a Manta style.
I guess a
and manted
Manta,
out of
yeah,
it
dispel
and
the
use Blade Fury. But the
Okay.
problem with that is that he gets too much. I mean, there's just too much damage for him to take even through the. A lot of physical and pure damage going
Yeah.
through the Blade Fury. So.
But you're right, though. At least if he had the Manta, he could dispel the silence and have a chance to use the
Or
Omni
Diffuser
Slash and
Blade, one of
reset.
those two.
Yeah, but at least if you get the Omni off, that gives you a little bit of time for your teammates to get nearby and then set up the team fight once it's over. When you just get destroyed in the duration of a silence like that, there's literally nothing you can do in that situation. Up top, we'll see Swindle take a track. Zeus thinking about the ult. Oh, Swindle,
dead.
he's going to get caught again. He tried to TP out. They interrupt it, and that's the end of him.
Even if he TP's out there and the Hurricane Pike comes out, he's just dead anyways.
Yeah.
Maybe not. If he heals in the well, maybe he can survive.
Z-Freak destroyed in the bottom lane again. Handskin. It's okay. Compliments of the Ghost Scepter, but they double back because they want to pick up the gem. 2 down on the side of Complexity, and now the gem trades hands. Insult to injury at this point, Mott.
They don't have the Nature's Prophet for 52. They could force out the buyback from the Quap here. She has 36 seconds. They could group up mid and try to go for a fight. They're going to clear out the rest of the wards with this newly minted gem they've picked up for Z-Freak, from Z-Freak rather. And this should probably be a tier 3 tower, or at least a fight that might even end the game because of how far ahead they are. I'd be very surprised if they come away with nothing here, but we'll see. And they have a pipe too, apparently.
Dire's structures are
Yep.
fortified.
Here we go. High ground siege. 20 seconds on the Prophet. Glyph comes out straight away, but this is not going to be an easy one. They jump right in onto Limp. Omni Slash starts bouncing around. Mercy Please taking some okay damage, but he survives through the bulk of it. Now Limp falls. Chessie getting low as well. Handskin gets about a second of his ult off before dying. Mercy Please dies deep behind the tier 4s with the Aegis. Puck, Will Yules, out comes the Guardian Greaves to buy him a little bit of time. Phase shift, and he will be able to jawn away. Now Enchantress coming in, bringing Chessie down low, and they find the kill there. Mercy Please just goes back to work on the structures. Complexity hanging on for now, but they've already used 2 buybacks, and the fight's not over yet. Limp taking huge damage. Sonic Wave connects on all of the Radiant, but it's just not enough. Z-Freak falls shortly after, and this is starting to feel like GG territory. There it is, Mott. This game is over. Complexity upset by Evernova.
Oh, man, just great laning setup from Evernova. Good play from the puck. Really just, oh, God, the puck play was fantastic. Really, everybody played very well for Evernova. They made the right decisions in terms of items, in terms of when to push and pull, when to try to find picks, when to try to find objectives. The Infest Bombs were a big part of it. Enchantress not dying, obviously another huge part of it. Ho okay, looking like he's a good player at the end of the game, sitting at 10-0-11 with some amazing farm.
Yeah.
This was, you could call it a failed experiment for Complexity with the Z-Freak Queen of Pain. Maybe just the draft in general wasn't particularly great. Maybe they're not that concerned with this particular matchup. Obviously, it's not an elimination match or anything like that. You could call it what you want, but Evernova played pretty spectacularly one way or another. So you have to give them props, and you don't want to take anything away from the way they played.
Yeah, I mean, just reliving this final fight here with the Soylent replay. And Mercy Please just goes in so deep. Like, he dives completely past the throne, and there's actually nothing Complexity can do about it. They burn all the buybacks, they get rid of his Aegis, and then once this fight resets, it's so obvious that they just don't have the resources to handle it. They just fell too far behind too quickly. And again, the team fight lineup, holds true here, Mott. First game that we see today where the bounty hunter really is able to recover and play a driving role, though. Honestly, I look at that Enchantress as the most, wow, you need to ban that hero, because that item on her really just feels insane.
Yeah, that was... It didn't help that she was already pretty far ahead, and then she gets that item and destroys all the... There's just too many squishy heroes that they could not deal with.
Yeah.
The Enchantress damage, the impetus damage, even if it was nerfed, was still too much to deal with. So, with that said, that Complexity have a chance to still get out of this groups up in the upper bracket, but that definitely hurts their chances. What's the next game, Andrew? Do you know?
The losers from Game 1 and Game 2 will be coming up next. So,
Okay.
that will be... What happened to my schedule here? I had it open. Boop-a-doo-doo-doo.
Oh, so Evernova is the first team to move into the upper bracket, it looks like then.
So Evernova's in
Wow.
great shape. So it's going to be Kingdom versus Lucchini as our next matchup here.
Okay.
So sit tight, folks. We'll have that coming up pretty soon here. Scheduled to start in about 10 minutes. I'm Zyori, he's Mott. We've got Lurk a Derp on stats today. We'll be back after this word from our sponsors.